joining me now is Daniele Verri, our friend in Italy. We're going to talk about this week's Serie A action. We're going to start with Juventus, who travel, of course, to take on Empoli. They're 1.74 for the win. This is the first time since the 2014-15 season, Daniele, the Juventus have kept a clean sheet in all three of their opening games. How is their start being viewed over in Italy?
Well, I will say that the start has been viewed very well. I mean, Juventus have started very well. This is a fact. It's not an opinion. I mean, you could argue that starting with Como and Verona is a light way to start off the season. But, I mean, Juventus did very well. And still, if you consider that they haven't played from the off their important new signings like Douglas Luiz, like Cope Miners, who's been presented this week, like Nico Gonzalez, who's scored a goal with Argentina in the international break. I mean, having those players coming on now on a regular basis on the top of such a good start makes things look good, and Thiago Motta can be optimistic about the future line ahead.
That fact about them not conceding is quite interesting because, as you mentioned, they've had a relatively simple couple of games, but then they did have Roma up next, who, admittedly, I haven't had a great start to the season, but are a very good side overall.
Yes, they are. But as you said, they haven't had a very good start in the season. They only have 2 points so far. They drew 2 and lost 1. But they look solid in Turin last time out. Juventus didn't look at the top of their game. Obviously, I mean, it's September now, but we've been playing what we call August football. So it's very early in the season. So there's plenty of room for development, plenty of room for anything. But what you have to really bottom line remark is that Juventus started off well, very, very well, playing good football with young players that you wouldn't expect performing so well, with Vlahovic playing very well apart from the Roma game last time out. So yes, they didn't concede. Roma weren't that dangerous in Turin, in my opinion, but they look solid. Juventus not being at their top made the game finish 0-0. It's okay. So, but they can be happy. Juve can be happy. They have to be happy.
Empoli are an interesting side, though. Obviously, started 2 draws and a win, and Roberto De Versa, I think, will be very happy with how things have got going this season.
Oh, definitely. They won in Rome, for example. We were talking Rome. So they won 2-1 away at the Stadio Olimpico. They drew the other 2 games. They drew against Bologna away also. So it's a solid team with some good individuals like Fazzini behind the strikers, like Colombo, who's the lone striker for them, who's AC Milan or a product of the AC Milan youth system. So they have been a solid side. D'Aversa is a solid manager, but I mean, again, it's also for them. It's just the beginning of the season. Last year they struggled until the very last minute of the season to avoid relegation. Obviously, some things have changed, like the manager and like the striker. Colombo wasn't there last season, so I mean, we'll have to see what happens, but as far as things have gone so far, D'Aversa can only be very happy. Yeah, definitely.
Someone and a team who aren't going to be very happy is AC Milan. 2 draws and a loss from their opening 3 games so far this season for AC Milan. Look, they're taking on Venezia here, but 1.29, they are for me way too short in this market because something's not quite right at AC Milan yet.
No, they still have the same. I mean, they've conceded twice on each of the 3 games played so far. So that's already a worrying stat, if you want.
It really is.
They still have the same issues that they had last season with Pioli, although the manager changed. So they are struggling a lot in the defense and in front of the defense. That's why they bought Pavlovic. That's why he was a central defender from Salzburg. That's why they bought Emerson Royal from Tottenham. That's why they got Fofana also from Monaco. So Fofana is going to make his full debut probably at the weekend. And Pavlovic has already been scored a goal, for example, against Lazio, and has been performing well. So he's already, I wouldn't say a fan favorite, but a face who's seen with joy by the fans, let's put it this way. But they still have those issues with their defense and the midfield in front of the defense. And I mean, they will have to fix them quite quickly because they are already 5 points adrift from the top of the table, and Liverpool in the Champions League is just around the corner. Liverpool, we've seen them performing and winning in the Premier League, so they want to wake up, definitely.
I mean, Venezia, Paulo Fonseca will be very... Hang on a second, he's got a call. It's Paulo Fonseca ringing you to say, hang on, give me a bit...
This is Paulo Fonseca telling me, tell Pete that this weekend is going to go differently for us, okay?
Well, it might, because Venezia, with all due respect to Venezia, this is the kind of game I think Paulo Fonseca will be pleased to have. It is a very winnable game, isn't it, for AC Milan?
It is, because Venezia are one of the strongest candidates for relegation this season. They don't have a deep squad. They don't have that much quality. They lost maybe their strongest asset, which was their manager, Vanoli, who moved to Torino. And now, look, Torino doing very well, topping the table. So, I mean, this should be an easy game for AC Milan, and a game that, I mean, you build confidence on top of results, and AC Milan do need results at this time of the year. Definitely, they are at the beginning of a project with a new manager, with Fonseca, and they need points and they need results to keep the fans quiet and to have the opportunity to work. It's going to be an extremely crowded season also for them. I mean, we said playing Champions League new format, many games. I mean, there won't be that much time in order to fix things. So things have to start working, because during the season then it's going to be a bit more difficult to work on specific things with the most important players. AC Milan also apparently solved the issue with Theo Hernandez and Leao. So they were left out of the starting 11 against Lazio last time out. They didn't take part in the cooling break in the second half with their teammates, but then they built the final 2-2 goal. I mean, they got called off by the club and told off, so not to repeat that. I mean, they should start performing, because we haven't seen much of them this year. So before they complain too much for the treatment they received, they should start putting something properly on the pitch, probably.
Absolutely, and of course, we're not going to go into too much detail, but AC Milan and Inter Milan now trying to buy the San Siro as well, which they could do with doing well in the Champions League and having that money in the coffers between the two of them, in fact, to sort of nail that deal down. We mentioned Roma in passing a few moments ago. Roma in this game are 2.32 away at Genoa. I know that Genoa lost to Verona, but this game looks really interesting, because I'm not sure I'd want to back Roma to win it.
Nah, it's difficult. Genoa, we said that Genoa is always a difficult place. It's true that Verona did very well last time out and beat Genoa away, but that was a fully unexpected result for me. Fully unexpected, although Verona had a very good start of the season. We see them thrashing Napoli on match day 1, but I mean, I wasn't expecting them to win at the Ferraris. I don't know if Roma will win at the Ferrari, because Genoa are a very solid team. Genoa can play football. Genoa are compact. They play all together. They move very well. They cover all the empty spaces on the pitch. They really move on the pitch as a unity. So it won't be easy for Roma. I mean, Roma also have only 2 points so far. So they will have to start winning games. They don't have any game in the next midweek. Them participating already in the UEFA Europa League. They won't participate. Next week is only Champions League, we know, for all of the 3 days. So they can look with a more relaxed attitude to what is coming on. But I mean, they will start. They will need to start performing, because they haven't performed yet. Okay, drew 0-0 in Turin against Juventus, but then again, lost at home.
that looks fine, that result, if the others have been good.
Yeah,
it?
it is.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
So,
no, it is a good result. You don't go to Turin
no?
with the certainty to come out with 3 points. So you go to Turin, play your game. That's what Roma did. They did well. They got the point. They got the point they deserved in the end because they deserved the point.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have deserved 3 points in Turin. So, but still, it was a good game. Still, you have to go to Turin and play your game with a team that had thrashed Como and Verona 3-0 on the first 2 match days of the season, who was highly favourite to win the third one also. So they did well. They did well on match day 3. Now they will have to build on that and start getting results. What I'm saying is I don't know, or I'm not sure that Genoa is the right place to start getting results, getting big results. If they do, then it's a good boost. Then it's a proper boost. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Speaking of boosts, by the way, Napoli started the season appallingly, and actually since then have kicked on a couple of wins and look pretty smart. They travelled to the Unipol Dumos to take on Cagliari. Look, Napoli in this game, 1.84. I feel much more comfortable backing them now because these 2 wins have been pretty good results.
Allora, Cagliari is a difficult place also because they won't take the game at Napoli.
No.
They will wait for Napoli to come. And they are a good fighting unit with Nicola on the bench. They are a good fighting unit. I mean, Napoli, it's true that they won against Bologna and it's true that they won against Parma, but they were very lucky with Parma. In my opinion, I mean, if the Suzuki, the Japanese goalkeeper of Parma, hadn't been sent off, they would have never won that game because they conceded twice. At the end of the game, but Del Prato wore his gloves, so to say. So a player who was playing on the pitch had to go in goal because of the fact that the manager Pecchia didn't have any substitution left to do. So it was a central defender who had to go and play as a goalkeeper. And with a proper goalkeeper, like Suzuki is a massive goalkeeper. If you like goalkeepers and if you want to watch out, look out for the Parma goalkeeper. Nice, young, Japanese, very good in my opinion. So if he had been there, Parma wouldn't have conceded those 2 goals in the end. So,
and I suppose Napoli.
Then again, yeah, sorry.
They've come at home, haven't they? Those wins, I suppose, as well, and it was away from the Diego Maradona where they lost.
Yes, exactly. This is also something that you have to consider because Napoli is coming from a disastrous season. So they are not the same team that they used to win home and away every week in, week out, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not. So they need to build confidence. And that's why the way the win has arrived against Parma won't really bother Antonio Conte because what he needs now are results. So in order to build, let's say, some consistency and some faith in the group, some self-confidence within the group. Having done that, if he does that and he is the right person to do so, then he's got a competitive team. Not a team that can fight for the title, surely not this year, but a competitive team. I mean, they lost finally, or they have, he's gone on loan, Osimhen, to Turkey, to Galatasaray, and then they got Lukaku, was the striker we really wanted. They got McTominay, they got what is he called again? Gilmore, from Brighton. So he's got what he wanted. Now things look definitely brighter for him. Yeah.
I wish we had more time to talk about Osimhen deal because it's a really fascinating sort of whole story, but sadly we don't.
Mate, call me afterwards. We can talk off the program.
Fascinating deal, that one. Let's just very quickly finish with Inter travelling to Monza. Yeah. If you're into Milan, this is the exact start to the season pretty much you wanted. Nice and simple, picking up your points where you're getting them. It's not a problem. This is a winnable game. And at the moment, Inter, I don't think should be worrying anyone. In terms of their performance, I mean, they're playing so well that any Inter fan, shouldn't be worried with what they're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, they came away with a draw at Genoa on match day one, but they were honestly unlucky. I mean, they were leading 2-1. They had plenty of chances to close the game. They didn't, and they got an equalizer, a penalty equalizer in the very last seconds of the game. So, I mean, Inter are the best team in terms of player squad, in terms of everything. And in the league, this is a fact, and this is not an opinion. So they scored 5 at Monza last January to win 5-1. I can see them scoring and winning also this game. Let's see if it's going to be 5 or not, because they are also playing Champions League. They've got big weeks and big games coming up in the next period. I mean, they've got Manchester City, not a dodgy team. Manchester City in the midweek, and they've got AC Milan in the derby next weekend. So a bit of turnover can be expected. We know that Zelinski is bound to make his debut at the weekend against Monza. But I mean, Zelinski came as a free agent to AC Milan, but he's a player who can play as a playmaker, can play as an intern midfielder. I mean, he's got the quality to be there. And Inter, I mean, they got Taremi and Zelinski for free, so they are doing things well. You can't say anything.
Yeah,
you got Frattesi. Have you seen Frattesi with the national team? So he normally doesn't play for Inter. As soon as he wears the Italy shirt, he scores goals. So this is also an option that for now and the future will be very valuable for them.
It was interesting, like you say, because Frattesi not particularly playing for Inter a lot at the moment, but as soon as he has that performance for the national side, it's all over the British press. Liverpool looking at Frattesi, Arsenal looking at Frattesi.
Yeah.
It doesn't play for
Inter. But if you consider that they play with 3 midfielder, and they've got Çalhanoğlu, they've got Mkhitaryan, who's been playing incredibly in the last 2 seasons without injuries, anything, and they've got Barella, so it's obviously difficult for him to find place. But now with the Champions League starting and having more games to be played every 3 days, there will be room for Frattesi also.
And there's probably room for a very comfortable Inter win. As Daniele was saying there, it should be a very, I think, easy game.